And good morning, welcome back. Well, good morning as we record it. I don't know what time you're looking at this. Keyword video at WMMBAM.com as we bring our political candidates into play here in the studio in the bonus video segment after the show. And right now we've got County Commission candidate on the Republican side, Helen Voltz, in the studio as she runs against Jason Mahaney and Trudy Infantini, the incumbent for this Republican nomination to Brevard County Commission District 3. Helen, thanks for taking the extra time. Sure. Let's talk about this campaign and what this audience who's taking a look at this video as they make their decision going into the August 14th primary. What's the main thing they need to know as they consider these three candidates, as far as you're concerned?
As far as I'm concerned, I have been involved in this community for 27 years. I have built relationships everywhere. You have to build relationships with people in order to get things done. You have to know what everybody else is doing. You have to know that the budget staff, you have to know what they're doing. You have to know what the county manager's office is doing. You have to know what's going on in the other departments instead of just not talking to them or occasionally, giving them a call. You have to not, as you said, go along to get along. You don't necessarily have to get along, but you have to get something done, and you have to get results. And that's the bottom line. You have to get results.
Results that you're looking for would be what?
Being able to pull the moderates over to your side rather than let Robin Fisher be the most powerful person on that board, and he's able to pull those votes on over to his side. And Trudy has got great ideas, but she can't pull any of those votes over to her side because of her argumentative nature.
And that's the sole reason in your mind?
Sole reason for
Trudy's lack of success as you describe it?
Yes.
We talked on the show about areas where you would cut county spending. Let's lay those out for folks. Where do you see that the county can be cut or should be cut?
Mm-hmm. Well, since I don't have the budget in front of me, I don't know what has been cut where, but and I don't believe in across-the-board cuts. I think you have to look at every single department, not just one department and not just, 3 or 4. You have to look at everybody and make sure that everybody sharpens their pencils and sits down and says, and the commission has to say, this is what we want to do. We do not want to raise taxes. We want the budget to be as low as possible. We cannot just go freely spend because it's not the commission's money. It's the taxpayers' money.
All right. Recently, the commission voted to hand cash in advance to a company locating here in Brevard, saying a regular tax abatement wouldn't work for them because they're located on Kennedy Space Center property. We covered this on the radio show, but for those who are joining us on video, I agree we need to get jobs in here. What's the best way to do it? Are those cash advances to business to come here? Is that a good idea?
Well, that's part of it. You have those, which absolutely, I believe that was only the second one that's ever been done. You have tax abatements. And probably one of the other issues is the fact that our regulations. You have too many regulations out there with too many different bodies. And, you have got the St. John's, the Army Corps, you have the county, you have cities. They really should be combined. It should be one-stop shopping. If you got a permit you need a permit for something, you just need to go one place and say, this is what I want. And they handle all of those other things for you and then come back and give you the permit.
Would you be in favor then of the county creating a regulatory clearinghouse that they would staff it and then divvy the money up to the various entities that are due their fees for whatever permitting is required? Would that be an easy way to go?
Yes, it would be. We have to do something to make sure that the small businesses, or even the larger one, but especially the small businesses, because they don't have as much money as these big businesses do. The small businesses have got to look at their city or the county as a friendly entity, and they should be willing to help them start a business so that they can create those jobs. But and I think the last time I said when I was on here, there was a friend of mine down in Palm Bay who tried to start a computer place. Mm-hmm. And I want to tell you the problems that he had Fortunately, he's pretty forward and pretty dogmatic about, the government, if you will, and all these regulations. And he got everything through. And they would come in, and he would immediately stop them at the door and say, wait a minute, what do you want? This is what I've done. Not everybody's like that. And so government has to be friendly to businesses so that they can open their doors without so many hassles.
Tax rate appropriate in Brevard right now, as far as you're concerned, or should we start rolling that rate down?
Oh, no. It's got to be rolled back. It has to be rolled back. It's been raised too much over the last couple of years.
But yet we've seen declining property values. They're trying to maintain revenues in the county coffers to maintain services. Mm-hmm. I agree with the idea of rolling the tax rate back. That's going to imply more cuts, I would imagine.
It will. Let's see, probably 2006 is when everything started going, and we cut $50 million one year, $30 million another year, and every year you have to look at, where's the bottom line? Where do you stop and say, we can't cut anymore? Where is that line? I don't know where that line is, but somehow or another we need to find where that line is and say, and keep it that way. And these are the taxes that it's going to cost to make sure that you have public safety and you have roads and those kind of things being built, and everything else is ancillary.
Let's talk let's talk environmental protected zones, Eels Lands, if you will. Are we appropriate where we're at on those? Do we need to buy more lands? Are we properly managing the ones we have? And what do you think about that Eels program?
Well, the Eels program was voted on by the people, first off. Secondly, I don't think the lands are being used properly. A lot of them they don't allow open for anybody to use for biking or whatever. And secondly, I think that we need to stop spending money on buying land. I think we need to take the money that we have and manage it, which has not been done. When I was on commission the first time, Commissioner Higgs, we had, X amount of dollars, whatever it was, left from the first go-around on the Eels referendum. And I suggested that we go ahead and manage the land instead of buying more property, and Commissioner Higgs wanted to buy more property. So I think it's important. You have to take care of what you have. It's like the county buildings that we have right now. They are so deteriorated, and there's never been money set aside to make sure that our buildings are hurricane-proof. I mean, if you've ever seen the county building up there on Wickham Road, I guess near BCC up there, it's in shambles. And our road and bridge people work out of that place.
All right. Recently, the commission also voted to release or relax, rather, the environmental and zoning rules around the Cocoa Expo. Good call on their part. Do we need to continue to relax those kind of regulations?
Absolutely, we do. I think that when you look at wetlands and those wetlands that are non-functional, I don't think they should be classified as wetlands. They should be classified, okay, you got water on your property, let's fill it in. And they did that for homes, but they held back on commercial, and I think that at this point they have gone back and addressed the commercial issue, and I think they should.
One last question before we let you get out of here for the day. Economic development zones for the county, CRAs for the cities in the county, are those an appropriate way to fund development and growth in the county, or would it be better off being handled by either the county commission or the various city governments that their councils could do the same job?
Well, the city councils, they're CRAs all over the county, and they're by law. You can create them. Are they good? Some of them are good. Some of them are not good. But for the most part, they are good. They create increased taxes for that particular zone, so that they can go ahead and do some of the improvements in the streets and what have you. And that's actually money that the county then, or the city, doesn't have to put into that particular area, fixed in the roads, putting in drainage and those kind of things. Mm-hmm.
All right, let me give you 30 seconds, a minute here to wrap up with this audience at WMMBAM.com.
Okay. Well, I've been here for a little over an hour. I think I took one positive phone call. Everything else is attacking everything. Well, just a handful of things that I've done. But I have voted on thousands and thousands of items that are very, very conservative. And, if people could go back and actually look at the record, and I know I've had people tell me, why don't you take credit for things that you do? It's because the credit is not all about me. It's about getting things done in Brevard County. And this current commissioner hired somebody in her office that is suing the county. Why on earth would anybody do that? No company in the world would hire somebody who is suing them. And that's what she has done. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of some of the things that I have looked at that I think and I know that I can do a better job at.
All right, Helen Voltz, thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back with more on WMMBAM.com. Keyword video. We'll see you back here real soon.